to the library. See you at the library. It's cold, y'all. I'm going to be using the what's it called? I'm going to be using the GPS. Even though the library is right by my house, I use the GPS for everything. So yeah, I'm going to be using the GPS, and so I will not be recording me driving. Okay, so I will see you when I get to the library. Bye. All right, y'all, I'm here. Let's go to the show. Let's go. Take the key out. It looks packed though, y'all. Oh my gosh, this is the first time I come to the library. It's like all the spots taken. I don't know. I think the kids just came out of school. Ooh, you know, I'm an introvert. I like not a lot of people to be around, you know, in order to be comfortable. But yeah, let's hope it's not too packed. All right, see you inside. Bye. Guys, I don't know if you'll be able to hear me, but welcome back to the Tippy's channel. So I did some research and I found 3 books that seem interesting that I would want to read. So one is called Christmas at the Women's Hotel. Yes, this is Daniel and Lavery, and basically I'm gonna read the plot synopsis. Christmas at the Hotel. Okay, Christmas at the hotel means work. For much of the year, employment comes infrequently to the residents. But during the Advent season, they're in high demand all over the city as holiday window dressers, salesgirls at card stores on 42nd Street, Broadway usherettes, assistants to the Lincoln Center laundress at the Nutcracker, or off-season security guards working for Pinkerton at the World's Fair. Catherine explores the possibility of reconnecting with a younger sister moving to New York. Lucienne goes into business for herself, running a strictly social registers telephone order mail escort agency out of her room. That part, I was like, oh. But while Miss Mosler attempts to solve the mystery of the skyrocketing phone bill and frets over Christmas tips for the hotel's few remaining employees, and while the 3 gem thieves who broke into the American Museum of Natural History have recently been apprehended, not all of the stolen jewels have been recovered, and Patricia and Carol have been behaving very strangely recently. Christmas is a season of wonder and mystery after all. Okay, there's nobody next to me, so like, well, there's people like, but they're like 6 feet. They're like COVID distance, so it should be okay. But yeah, the reason I chose this is because, like I said before in the last video, I don't live for romance, Christmas romance, and most of the Christmas books are romance. So like, I'll like give it a chance in order to give you guys some recommendations, because I know that's one of the most popular genres. So you know, I might not like it, you guys might like it, but this is like right up my alley. It sounds interesting, and I love books that have like I said in the last video, like most of the books I read are like fantasy action. So if it's not fantasy action, then I like characters that like are very just interesting in their own way. Even if you don't have powers, you're very interesting. So like for this, it's like a hotel for women, and it's like each woman, like I could tell, I haven't read it yet, this is just me exploring, but I could tell like each woman in this story is very unique, very distinct, with their own personalities and jobs, and like I can't wait to dive into this world and like find out more about them. Like the part that like really like got me is when it was like, you know, one is a holiday window dresser. One is a sales girl at a card store. One is a Broadway usherette. One is an assistant to the Lincoln Center laundress at the Nutcracker. And one is the off-season security guard. And one is the works for like the telephone people for an escort agency. I don't know if she runs it or she just runs the telephone, but like that part I was like, oh, I could do without, but still it seems like an interesting, fun read. Like I have a feeling these characters are gonna eat down, and this is a very short book. Like it's about 129 pages. Like this is short, you can eat it up in a day. So if you're not a big reader, maybe try this out for your first book. Yeah, this one is the one I'm most interested in. So yeah, Women's Hotel, Christmas at the Women's Hotel. And next is one by Richard Paul Evans. Apparently because I asked the librarian, I was like, oh, can you recommend me some Christmas books? Because like, you know, like I find it hard to like, the only section I know is the fantasy section, the young adults. Like I don't really like go to anywhere else, like so yeah. And so she said like he's the top dog when it comes to Christmas books. Like he's known for his Christmas series, and so this one is called Lost to December. The reason I'm recommending it to you guys, and I even got interested, actually let me read the plot first. When Luke Crisp graduates from business school, his father, CEO and co-founder of Fortune 500 Crisp's Coffee Centers, is ready to share some good news. He wants to turn the family business over to his son, but Luke has other plans. Taking control of his trust fund, Luke leaves home to pursue a life of reckless indulgence. When his funds run out, so do his friends. Humbled, alone, and too ashamed to ask his father for help, Luke secretly takes a job at one of his father's coffee centers. There he falls in love with a struggling single mother and begins to understand the greatest source of personal joy. Lost December. Yeah, I'm not gonna say this part yet, but when I was reading this, I was like, this story, like, 'cause right now I'm getting into my Bible, so I'm reading at least a chapter a day, and I went straight to the New Testament, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I started reading like the Old Testament like months ago or last year, and then I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I'm gonna come back, and then I just went to the New Testament. So I'm reading the New Testament right now. I'm on John. No, I'm on Acts. But yeah, but this story remind me. So like I am like reading my Bible. I've read some of the Old Testament and some of the New Testament. I haven't read the whole thing, but I was like, I know this story. Like this reminds me of the story of the prodigal son. So if you don't know, there's this story in the Bible where it basically similar to this. It's like his father, you know, was like wealthy, you know, for that time, and basically he had two sons, and one son went and like blew his money and indulged in reckless indulgence, like, you know, spending his money drinking, acting a fool, having fun, you know, and then he ended up broke and alone. And you know, when you spend your money like that, you know, as soon as you lose your money, all the people you've been spending your money on and spending your money with, they gonna leave you because you broke now. You don't have anything you want. But yeah, so then he, you know, he was ashamed. He didn't even want to go back to his father because he was just like, I'm ashamed, like what I did with my life, and look at my state now. So he didn't even want to go back to his father. Basically like, oh, my son, da da da. He basically brings him back home with open arms. He throws a party for him now that the prodigal son has returned. His son has returned, and he was so happy. The other son, he looked at his father. He's like, how can you throw a party for him? You never do such a he threw a lavish party for him, like lavish. He's like, my son is here. Hey, your son, he went and like spent all your money and was just like indulging in whatever. And I've been here, you know, doing what I'm supposed to do, being by your side, working, you know, da da da. And you throw this lavish party for him when he, you know, when he wasn't doing what he's supposed to do. Like, you know, he felt some type of way. It's like, I'm the one who was doing right, and you throwing this lavish party you never even thrown for me. But he was basically just saying, it's kind of that same idea that God has, where it's like, yeah, you know, he's well pleased with the second son. Like, he's happy that the second son is doing what he's supposed to do. You know, the second son is the one who's gonna, like, you know, inherit his, you know, wealth. You know, he loves his second son just as much as the first. But It was that idea of like the other son of the first son was lost, but now he's found. So this is cause for celebration. So it's kind of the idea of, you know, when we are lost, like we are sinners, and then we turn to Christ, like that idea of like the angels are rejoicing. There's a party in heaven. God is so happy, you know. And you know, the people who have always been good with God, it's like you know, you're just happy. You're continuously happy, but like it's a cause for celebration when somebody's lost, but now they're found. It's that kind of idea. You know, even though like he loves both equally, it's kind of like the idea. Say you had two kids. One is like, one got addicted to hardcore drugs, and the other one doesn't. He's been doing what he's supposed to do. Goes to college, you know, has a nice girl with him, da 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 da. You know, being, you know, what you wanted him to grow up to be. And then the son who was addicted to hardcore drugs, basically ruining his life and likely like leading himself to death. If he turns from those drugs and it's like changes his life, like the parent of course is gonna like want to throw a party. Like even though you love that son, you love the other son just as much, it's like your son is changing his life for the better, and he can now live, now he can, you know, be who he was meant to be. So it's like cause for celebration. It's that kind of idea. But anyways, so this story reminded me of that. And then at the end it says Lost December is Richard Paul Evans' modern-day holiday version of the biblical story of the prodigal son, a powerful tale of redemption, hope, and the true meaning of love. So yeah, apparently this was before I read that part. I was like, this sounds familiar. This is giving the prodigal son. I said in my head, this is giving the prodigal son, and it was supposed to be giving the prodigal son. And I was like, hey. But yeah, so that's what made me want to read it. Though, you know, it is very different. It's very modern. It's a modern version. He falls in love with a struggling single mother and begins to understand the greatest source of personal joy. Like I said, I'm not a romance person, so I don't love that. I don't love that because he falls in love. Like he learns what true joy is. I wish it was something else. Like, I don't know, him taking that lowly job, lowly quotation marks. I think it says lowly in here. Yeah, lowly quotation marks. You know, a job's a job. Nothing is lowly, but lowly job. Like, it's just like I wish he, like, things like his coworkers, like, you know, their different lives, how each coworker has like different struggles and different, you know, different strengths and personalities. Like I wish just life itself, just and being around other people, different kind of people, would have been the thing that like gave him the source of joy, like, oh, gave him that new perspective rather than love. I don't know, for me, love, yeah, just feels basic a bit. But I'm gonna read it anyways, give it a chance. Though I will say, hopefully I'll finish these by the time this video comes out, and then I'll let you guys know. Well, I do not read anything I don't like. If this is an L, I'm not gonna finish it, and I will tell you guys that I did not and why. I've tried before to read something I just wasn't into, and I was just like forced myself. It just wasn't a good time. But yeah, I'll let you guys know, and yeah. But I'm excited, you know. Yeah. Next. Oh, and this is called Lost December by Richard Paul Evans. Next is called Mistletoe and Mr. Right by Sarah Morgenthaler. Sarah Morgenthaler, I believe. This low-key, it's romance though. It's Christmas romance. It's hard pressed to find one that wasn't. It was either Christmas romance or Christmas mystery. Surprisingly, there's a lot of Christmas mystery books. I didn't know that was like such a big thing in Christmas, but there was a lot. Like Christmas romance, Christmas mystery, and then there's just ones that took place in December that wasn't really Christmas. But yeah, I picked this because it reminds me of one of my favorite Disney movies, my favorite DComs. It's called Cloud 9. Not because they're snowboarders, but because like they're like, I don't know, when I was reading the description, the main girl, she reminded me a bit like Kayla Morgan in a way, just like, you know, being known as like this rich girl who has like a good life and everything. That's everything she wants, but then she wants to prove people wrong. But instead of snowboarding, the plot is Lana Montgomery, the main female lead, is everything the quirky small town of Moose Springs, Alaska can't stand. A rich socialite with dreams of changing things for the better. But Lana's determined to prove that she belongs, even if it means trading her stilettos for snow boots and tracking one of the town's hairiest Christmas mysteries, the Santa Moose, an antlered Grinch An antlered Grinch hell-bent on destroying every bit of holiday cheer and tinsel it can sink its teeth into. The last few years have been tough on Rick Harden, so, the male lead. And things aren't getting any easier now that his dream girl's back in town. When Lana accidentally tranquilizes him instead of the Santa Moose, it's clear that she needs help, fast. And this could be his chance to finally catch her eye. It's an all-out Christmas war, but if they can nab that darn moose before it destroys the town, Rick and Lana might finally find a place where they both belong, together. Yeah, so I thought this was a bit interesting, because the only reason why, despite the fact that it's romance, I chose it, is because she reminds me of Kayla Morgan, and I love Kayla Morgan from Cloud9. You know, it's not exactly the same, so I'm not saying like, oh, if you watch Cloud9, you love this, but like, for me, it just reminds me of it for some reason. But yeah. But this is a hefty book, and it is romance, so I'm not confident I'm gonna love this, but it sounds interesting. Yeah. Mistletoe and Mr. Right. I might find a different one to choose. To be honest, I might come back and find a different one, because I don't know. It sounds cute, but didn't really love romance, babes. Didn't really love it. Should I start it and see what the vibes are? Sorry. If you read this, I'm like first sentence, but you know, I guess that's good, because authors, they need to draw you in the first few sentences. But yeah, that's one way to draw one in. The first line is, am I allowed to say this word on YouTube? I'm not gonna take the chance. If you want to know what it says, you'll read it yourself. Yeah, if I don't love any one of these, I'll switch it out and then come back. Okay, I'll be back. Bye. Hi again, people. So I switched out Mistletoe and Mr. Right. It's good. It's good, and I think if you liked the description I gave before, then you'll like this, because the main character is a good person. She's just misunderstood by the townspeople. And yeah, it seems like it'll be a good vibe, probably a good romance. It's just not my personal cup of tea. Like, for example, like I read a lot, even though I haven't been reading books as consistently as I used to back in the day. I just don't make the trek out to the library as often as I used to. I do read. That doesn't count, but I'm gonna say it counts. Read webtoons, and I do read, and I feel like I've gone through a lot of garbage webtoons and a lot of great ones, and so I've learned when to quit something I don't like, you know, and I'm translating that into books as well. So I put it back because for me it felt predictable. Like it kind of, for me, maybe because I read a lot of books, it felt predictable, but you know, you might still like it despite it. But this is just me personal. I think you should give it a try if you like romance, Alaska, you know, small town vibes. You'll like it. But for me, I just already know what's gonna happen. Like, I read 10 pages and I was just like, and I'm not spoiling because I do not know. The 10 pages was literally an introduction. Only one character, no, 2 characters, and the main character getting more to know. It's like an intro. And I would say that I feel like, this is my guess, why I feel like it's predictable. She actually cares for the town, but because she's rich, people misunderstand her. And soon they're gonna realize that she was actually a good person, and the town is gonna accept her, and then she's gonna fall in love with that person who was in, like, it was kind of obvious because they had the guy's name under her, so it's like obvious that he was going to be the male lead. But you know, I don't know how it's going to unfold, but he's already in love with her. He's going to help her out with the moose thing, which was said in the summary. And yeah, he's going to, you know, he's already in love with her, and he's going to, you know, be by her side, and then she's going to soon fall in love with him, and then the town's going to accept her, and then they're going to, you know, live happily ever after in the town together. And I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. And I don't like things that are too predictable. My vibe, so like, because it's predictable and it's not traditionally what I like to read, I was like, I'm not going to waste my time. Well, not waste my time, but I was like, I'm not going to like force myself to read it. Like, I'm confident. Let me know in the comments if you end up reading that book. Let me know in the comments if I'm right. And then you'll see what I'm saying. Like I said, I'm not a big lover of romance, so if it is a romance, it has to be a really good plot, as in not predictable, as in the type of romance I like is like enemies to lovers or friends to lovers. I like it when it develops slowly, not like, oh, I'm already in love with the person, I'm in love with them at first sight. I don't need those. I don't like those at all. But yeah, it's either romance gotta be a side plot or it has to be a slow burn, or else I don't. And it might be a slow burn, but it's not my vibe. I didn't feel like reading it. But I found this second one. This is the fourth one that I also thought was interesting, that I went back for. And I replaced Mistletoe and Mr. Right with, sorry, Mistletoe and Mr. Right, I'm sure you're good. But yeah, so this one is called Santa's Holiday Spectacular. Yeah, this one is cute. It's like Christmas is so much more than tinsel, lights, and mistletoe. For one-time high school pals Amy, Frankie, Raquel, and Nina, being together for the holidays has become a cherished tradition. Whether they're taking a trip or staying close to home, there's something special about giving back during the holiday season too, which is why Frankie is so dismayed when she learns that Salvation Army buckets are being pilfered all over town. Amy, Rachel, and Nina quickly agree to help her track down the thieves. It might not be their usual gathering, but it promises to be an adventure, especially when they bump into two women on a very similar quest. Annie and Myra have learned that a shipment of children's toys they sent to a charity event in New York City has been stolen. It looks like the thefts are connected, and it's the kind of injustice that the ladies of the sisterhood simply can't abide. On a madcap spree through the city, the two groups join forces to find the bandits, save Christmas, and all along the way to make this a holiday to remember for all the right reasons. So this sounds so cute. It seems like really good characters because they're giving back. They want to give back, and their whole, this is what I'm just guessing based off of the summary, but their whole shtick is that like Christmas is about giving, and they're upset that people are stealing from people, stealing people's gifts, you know, like the thieves basically stole stuff, and these women are like, not on my watch, babe. We're gonna find the thieves who are like stealing stuff for Christmas. Salvation Army, if you don't know, is the, you know, they're the people who donate things to the less fortunate, and the shipment of toys they sent for like kids has been stolen, and these women are like, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ham, no turkey, not on my watch. Not on my watch. But yeah, you're not about to steal from my kids, you're not about to steal on Christmas. And so yeah, the shawties pull up and stop the bad guys, I'm assuming. But yeah, that sounds fun. So this is Santa's Holiday Spectacular by Fern Michaels. And her picture on the back, a big picture. I've actually never seen that. It's my first time seeing the author's face huge in the back. It's usually like reviews or like the summary or something. Like I've never seen that. Like awards or reviews or something. I've never seen somebody's picture just covering the back. But period, as you should. But yeah, so these are the 3 books I'm going to stick with, and I will let you know, as in these are the 3 books I'm going to take with me and leave and read in the house, because later on tonight, because right now it's like 5 o'clock, and we're gonna go see, me and my friend from the first video you saw, we're gonna go see Zootopia 2. So I'm gonna take these home, read it a bit, and let you know what I think. Did I finish it? Was it good? Was it 10 out of 10? so far, I can tell you the one I'm most excited for is this one. I'm so excited for that one. And then I would say the second one is this, the Fern's Holiday Spectacular. And third one is this. Like, truly, I'm reading it because it's a retelling of the prodigal son from the Bible, so it makes me curious. But it is a bit predictable because I feel like the summary I gave, like the thing I told you guys here, kind of like the other one I read, the Mistletoe and Mr. Right, it feels very, what's the word, predictable. Like, so like I feel like the summary kind of gave everything away. And he takes a lowly, quotation marks, position at his father's company and then falls in love with this struggling single mother, and I guess she changes his outlook on life. And then, but isn't that the plot? Like, isn't that everything? I guess the only thing we don't know is like why he falls in love with her, but other than that, or like how his father reacts. But like, if it's based off the prodigal son, then we know the father is gonna take him back with open arms, you know. As if it's predictable, I'm not reading it, babes. I'll tell you this, I want to give you guys the ones that I truly really like, really will end up liking, and that I think you guys will find interesting and fun. But yeah, I don't know, I'll get back to y'all on that. But so far this one is third place. But yeah, I'll give you guys my ratings once I read it all up. Okay, bye. Okay, it's so embarrassing. Got the goods, y'all. Got the goods. It's cold. It's winter. Can you hear the wind? Oh, do you hear what I hear? The wind, and a cute kid with his tiny legs walking to the library. Oh, kids are so freaking cute. Oh my god. I actually don't even know where my car key is. I'm like, you know, sometimes when you just like mindlessly put something place, thank goodness my instinct is to put it in my pocket. Because I'm like, I actually don't, I don't consciously remember where I put seatbelt, safety first. But yeah, I don't consciously remember where I put my stuff. But yeah, y'all, I got the goods. Now I'm on the way home. If it's good, I'll devour all three by today. If it's not, it might take me a couple days, but I'm gonna try to like make reading them, not try, you know, like when I have books, reading is a priority, but like, you know, even if it is slow, I'll make more of an effort to like devour it so I can get this video out to you guys. And also there was a couple of other interesting ones. They weren't like my cup of tea, but I'm going to like put them here, I don't know, like put them here instead of talking about it, because I have it in my, like I took pictures of like the front, the cover, the name of it, the author, and like the synopsis. But like, it wasn't my cup of tea. They were romance ones, but I'm like, you know, you guys might enjoy romance a lot, and that might be your cup of tea. So I'm going to like recommend some. Here's one here, and it's synopsis. Here's another. But oh, let me take my time. There's one here, and it's synopsis. Another one here. yeah, and it's synopsis. Yeah. And then another one, maybe. I think there was only two, but oh, another one here, and it's synopsis. Okay. You know, I didn't want to only give my taste, because I know everybody's taste in books is different. So, you know, I gave those that I thought were pretty interesting. Like, you know, The reason I didn't chose it, not solely because it's romance, but just like very hallmarky, corny, you know, super I love fluff. When it's super fluff, that it's like feels like I'm in La La Land and this doesn't happen in real life. I just, I don't know. It just gets corny for me. Hi guys. Welcome to the review portion of the video. Let's get started. Yes. Okay. So I will be reviewing the 3 books I got from the library. For me, it was like a week ago, but for y'all, it's been like a few minutes. So let's just get started. Okay. First is Lost December by Richard Paul Evans, which I am pleased to find out, which I did not notice before. He's the writer of one of my favorite series that I read in like high school, I think, which is the Michael Vey series. I didn't know. When I read his name, I'm thinking it's familiar solely because it sounds like an author-y name, like Richard Paul Evans. Like that sounds like such an author name. I didn't make the connection. Like, cause when I got this book, it was not next to the Michael Vey series. So that was a pleasant surprise. And yeah. So if you remember when I first got this book, I pretty much didn't have that much hope for it. I remember when I got this book, I actually predicted this is gonna be the one that I liked the least and that I probably wouldn't finish. But Richard Paul Evans doesn't disappoint. This is actually, I rated a 10 out of 10. This is a 10 out of 10 book. And as you can see, title Lost December. And it's not a 10 out of 10 because this is the best thing I ever read. Like, this isn't like my favorite book I've ever read. And like, oh, I'm going to reread this like all the time, forever. This is a 10 out of 10 because I have no notes. Like, this is a story of a man called Luke Crisp, Luke Crisp, going through his life, making choices, dealing with consequences, learning new things, dealing with grief, dealing with happiness, finding joy, finding this, just going through his life. And there's just no notes. Like, it was written well. Like, I was immersed in the story. Like, I understand. I feel like it's a good book when you're like, when I can analyze like all the characters and like their decisions, their thinkings, their traumas, all these things. And that's what I actually ended up doing. Like, I'm not like a natural like note taker. I did take notes for the sake of this video. So like, you know, because I'm only like recording this after I had already read 3 books. So, you know, like obviously I'm gonna forget some of the details. So like I wrote notes just in case for this like small review portion. But obviously this review portion is just gonna be a review for like the recommendation, so that like I can give you recommendations of things I actually read and not just like I'm giving you recommendations based on the cover. These are like things I actually read and like will tell you whether I like it or not, but I'm not gonna spoil anything. But I ended up analyzing this down that I'm actually going to make a separate video talking about breaking this down with lots of spoilers actually. So don't watch that video unless you've read this. But I'm gonna make another video like detailing like all my thoughts about all the decisions and things this man has went through and the characters and all that. Yeah, just everything I took note of. Yeah. However, for a Christmas book recommendations, I would give it maybe a 3 or 4 out of 10, because like a lot of the significant things that happen in his life, like whenever the author actually mentions a date, they mention December. So like a lot of the stuff took place in December. Parts of the story took place in December. And there was like a Christmas scene in there, like there was a Christmas day. But this is just, rather than a Christmas book, this is just like a winter book, you know? So yeah, so it's not very Christmassy. So I wouldn't recommend this for a Christmas book, but for like a book in general in winter. But you could read this year round, but like, yeah, this is a great winter book. So yeah, 10 out of 10 book, 3 out of 10 for Christmas. Yeah. Next, we have Christmas at the Women's Hotel. Now, if you guys remember, this book is the one I remember saying I projected to be my favorite. Like, I remember thinking to myself that, oh, this book, I'm gonna love it. This is gonna be my favorite book, and it's short. I'm gonna eat this up. Well, I was wrong. I'm wrong again. This book, I actually rated a 3 out of 10. Yeah. For me, this book was very dull. Well, for one, I finished this a few days ago, and I can't even remember anything that happened. That to me personally is a sign that this book wasn't that interesting, that I just pushed it out of my mind. It really hasn't been that long, and I'm just like, I remember literally pretty much everything. Maybe not every detail, but, well, no, pretty much everything, but maybe not, since I didn't go into detail straight off the dome right now, so I don't know. But like, I remember a good portion of Lost December because I loved it. I really liked that book. But this girl, 100 chapters, 100 pages, and yeah, I wasn't feeling it, y'all. So the reason I didn't like it, I have to look at my notes because, like I said, I don't even remember much details. But the reason, oh yeah, now I remember. Okay, I feel like the author didn't do a good enough job making me feel connected to the characters. So, like, yeah, like, I don't know, it was just hard to feel connected to the characters. Maybe because they switch perspectives for each of the characters. Maybe they were too short, or maybe the book was too short, or their like time for their individual perspectives were too short. But I felt not a strong connection to the characters. Like, I did develop favorites, so that is a good sign. Like, I developed favorite characters and things that I thought was interesting, that I liked about a couple of the characters, but it didn't really immerse me. And then the plot wasn't interesting. Like, the situations were either short, not a big deal, or like resolved quickly. So it was just like, even the plot, it just wasn't interesting. Like it just really was nothing. It's like, this sounds bad, but like, it was almost like, what was the point of this book? Like, I don't know what this book was supposed to invoke, because it didn't really make me feel much camaraderie for the characters, because it's just what didn't give me much. Like, yeah, I like some of the characters and I feel things, but not anything strongly. Yeah, what else? I don't know, maybe because I don't think it was because of it was third person POV. It was just something, and I don't know, it's just, there's a line in this story that says, I was reading a very dull book, and I remember thinking to myself, I agree. Sad as it's, like, there's a line that says this is a dull book, and I was like, girl, I know the feeling. It just wasn't eating. And then another thing I would say is that I didn't really like the author's writing style and vocabulary decisions. Like, I'm fine with like a big word here or there, like whatever. Like, you know, I love to learn a new word, expand my vocabulary. We love that. But it was just like, some of the words, it was just like, because a lot of the times also, like, when you don't know a word, you can deduce like what the meaning is based off the context of the sentence. Like, for example, if you're watching this, you don't know what the word deduce means. You can deduce based off the context of what I just said, what deduce means, you know? But for him, he was just choosing words. I was like, I don't even know what I don't even know. Like, it was just so odd, his vocab choices. Like, I don't know. When I'm reading a book, the most important thing for me is immersion. I want to be immersed in the story, immersed in these people's lives, and there was just none of that in this book. I wasn't immersed. It was mostly in the first half where the vocab like threw me off, because it was just like, instead of being immersed in the story, I'm like looking things up on Google, like, what does this word mean? And then it'll explain it, and it really wouldn't help that much, and I'm just like, oh, okay. I mean, that the vocab part is just a small part of the reason I didn't like it. It wasn't that big of a deal. Like, you know, it was really only in the first half that it was like that, as far as I can remember. But for me, it was mainly the plot, and that really just made it dull. Yeah, I'm a reader who wants to be immersed in a story. I'm not analyzing your vocab or writing choices. Like, I do that mainly for like poems or lyrics, but for stories, just immerse me. Like, your descriptions need to eat, put me in. Like, I'm fine with a big word, but like, I don't even know why he chose some of that. But anyways, as for rating for a Christmas book, it's a little bit more Christmassy than the Lost December book, but not that much. It revolves around Christmas. Like, it makes sure to let you know that this is Christmas time. Like, the story lets you know that it's Christmas time through the setting, describing things, and like talking about the holidays coming up. But that's not what the story revolves around. Like, it's not that Christmas. Like, it's Christmas time, but it's not Christmassy. Like, they're not prepping for Christmas itself. They're just living their life. And right now, in the time of their year, this is Christmas time. That's it. Like, that's the extent of its Christmassy. Like, yeah, I'm sure there was like a Christmas scene in here or something. I don't know. I don't remember the details. Like, as soon as I finished, I was like, oh, thank goodness. Like, which sounds so bad. This isn't that bad of a book. I do like a few of the characters, but yeah, I don't like the book though. I like the characters, a couple, like two. Yeah, the book took place during Christmas time, so if that's enough for you, then yeah. So I would give this a 6 out of 10 for Christmas vibes, like for like as a Christmas book, like just for the Christmas vibes, 6 out of 10. But for the book itself in general, I give it a 3 out of 10. And the 3 is like all 3 points come from like the idea of the book, like the synopsis. It comes literally from the synopsis. This was such like a good idea, but I feel like it just wasn't fully fleshed out for me. So like all 3 points came from the character idea, the plot idea, all the synopsis. Literally, this is where the 3 is coming from. But for the book itself, 0 points. Everything comes from there was an idea here, so that's where you get your 3 points. But it didn't come out how I personally like it. But I would give it a try still. If you might feel differently. But yeah, next is the last book I read, which is Santa's Holiday Spectacular by Fern Michaels. This one, I had to left the bookmark in. It's cute. It's a cute bookmark though. Says Forgiven. I don't know if you can see that, but I rate it an 8 out of 10. So this was actually the most Christmas vibes out of all the books. Like, for Christmas vibes, I rate this a 10 out of 10. This one actually revolved around Christmas. Like, the characters were prepping for Christmas, their Christmas plans, figuring out gifts for their significant others, their families. They were like mentioning it a lot in the setting. So like, this is very Christmas in New York. So they were talking about like, you know, the tree lighting, SantaCon, all these things. This was very Christmas vibes. So yeah, so 10 out of 10 for Christmas vibes. This was entertaining. I give this an 8 out of 10 because it was very entertaining. I really liked the characters. This actually, part of this is what I thought Christmas at the Women's Hotel would be, because they have wonderful female characters who are like amazing. This is exactly what I wanted from Christmas at the Women's Hotel. This is a friend group of women who are, you know, they have their own careers. One is an actress, a successful actress. One is she works at a publishing company, you know. Another one owns a dance studio, things like that. And they're just like great girls. Like, you know, they're like good influences. Like they're just like, they're giving, they express, like they have a lot of joy in their lives because they're just like a good friend group with you know, great significant others. It's just a happy book. You know, there's their ups and downs. Obviously, you know, it's a story. There's not everything's gonna be linear, but yeah, this is just like, it has its ups and downs, and it has like an interesting little thing, you know, little, not crime fighting, but very justice for women kind of thing. So there's this duo of like older women who, they're older rich women, their money, their power, and you know, their strength, you know, they get justice for women. And I'm not gonna spoil anything, like I'm trying to be vague on purpose. Literally go based off the synopsis I gave in the first half of this video. But yeah, so there's a lot of hijinks in this one. Not a lot, there's like one hijinks, but like this is more of a story of friendship. It's friendship, giving, fun, Christmas, and spending the holidays with your loved ones, I would say, is the big themes in this book. So yeah, this is a good vibe. Like, yeah, so 8 out of 10 book. I only give it an 8 instead of a 10 out of 10 because it's a bit too, well, it's exactly what I would want in a Christmas book, but it's a little bit Hallmarky. So this is like a really good Hallmark movie, almost. Like this would be like a really good Hallmark. You know how some Hallmark movies are just corny? This one is like a Hallmark movie, which, you know, everything's pretty much working out. Like everything's pretty good, everything's pretty happy, very Christmas vibes. But this is a really good one. This is like a really good Hallmark movie. But I didn't give it a 10 out of 10 because I like my movie shows, books to have some ups and downs, you know, to be a little, you know, ups and downs, loop-de-loops, you know, like, yeah. But yeah, and this is a bit too straightforward-ish. Not too much, but like, yeah, it was pretty, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, so these are the 3 books. These are the 3 books, and yeah, out of all 3, I would say this one is probably the only one I would actually recommend for Christmas time. This one, I wouldn't recommend it, period. But I do recommend you give it a try and, you know, tell me what you think, because my tastes are my tastes. It might be different from yours. You might actually love this book. And this one, great book, but it's not that Christmassy. It's a little bit. So if you like your books to just be like very barely that, it's like, you know, like as in there's like a Christmas scene in there, or like like one Christmas scene and that's enough for you, then I would give this a try. But yeah, so this one is probably the only one I'd actually recommend for like Christmas books. Yeah, so let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let me know if you end up reading any of these books and if you agree with me or disagree with me. And also comment down below your favorite Christmas book. Yeah, and maybe I'll get some recommendations this time. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye. Thank you for watching.